It's funny. Sometimes I feel like you truly don't understand how much you love something until it's gone. 110 days. Why, they've kept us together through projects, archives, English commentary, interview specials, and fun VR backgrounds for Zoom and so much more. I truly was missing something that's been a part of my life forever. And that is the best professional wrestling in the world. And I could not be more excited and happy to finally see it return. Hello, everybody. I'm just a simple man, and my name is Noah Foster, and welcome to this simple bracketology video. In this video, I will be discussing my overall thoughts, my winners, top fours, my overall what I think might be matches of the tournament, maybe breakout moments or shockers of this very special New Japan Cup. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been 110 days since New Japan Pro Wrestling has stopped all live wrestling altogether due to the events that have affected the world. And now they are back. And of course, they are going to take in caution and consideration all the precautions they can take to make sure they can give us the fun and enjoyment and the best professional wrestling on the planet once again. And it starts with this New Japan Cup after a special called the NJPW Together Special. Apologies if I screwed that up. And yes, I will be doing, of course, live coverage, including simple takes, watching it live, and tweeting about all this live. Because again, NJPW is my number one. I'm back in my full, folks. I cannot be more happy. I have no idea what to expect on this Together special because a card will be announced at bell time. So stay tuned for a simple take on that. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of great matches, a lot of great teasers to come for the matches in the New Japan Cup. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about this, shall we? What's special about this one, it was originally supposed to take place in March. They decided now we're still going to do this event. And here we are, as I record this, June 13th, Saturday night, 9:53 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you my overall thoughts, predictions, and winners, and some of my friends' thoughts on this too. Shout out to all of you who discuss and are passionate about NJPW as me, included but not limited to my good friend Cindy G, good brother Christopher Willis, Mark the Griff Reviews, Gina Gray, Adam Reed. The list goes on and on. But again, it's not about me, it's about wrestling. And bringing my passion of wrestling to you, the people, to encourage you, share your thoughts, and maybe you'll like NJPW too. So here's the thing. This is a really special New Japan Cup, and it's more like an Openweight Cup. What I mean by that is they have a mixture, a much more balanced mixture of junior heavyweights and heavyweights involved in this special New Japan Cup, this field of 32. The first matches will take place on June 16th and June 17th, and then the following matches after that will take place on June 22nd and June 23rd. With the winners of all those, the field going from 30 to 16, those matches will take place on June 24th and July the 1st. And then our quarterfinals will take place July 2nd. The finals taken July 3rd, and overall winner decided in Osaka Joe Hall July 11th, facing double champ Tetsuya Naito for the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental titles on July 11th in Osaka Joe Hall at Dominion, which will be the first live event on NJPW with a crowd, 1/3 capacity at the most. Shout out, by the way, to NJPW president, apologies if I screwed up his name, Shigebayashi, and of course, once in a century superstar of the New Japan, Royce Tanahashi, really bringing us into all this information and announcement. And of course, these events, all New Japan Cup prior to Dominion, they will be empty arena. Kevin Kelly will still be bringing us English commentary, and we're still going to be in for some incredible professional wrestling. Now that I gave you the highlight of how this all came to be and how it started, let's talk about some of the matches, shall we? So again, the opening day, we have 4 matches, and there will be a special match too. The opening matches go as follows. We have Togi Makabe versus Yota Tsuji. Yota Tsuji has really gone after Togo Makabe. Again, these young lions show incredible heart. They want to push themselves against the best. But they also want to prove that I can beat you. It's something really special when you look at a young lion and you really want them to win. And then I figure about the fact we don't have a crowd to speak here. They're used to that because they train. We have maybe ring rust, recoveries from injuries for a number of these incredible professional wrestlers. And so really this does make this the most unpredictable New Japan Cup. And stay tuned, there will be a bracket at the end. I would love to hear your thoughts. There will also be a link at the end and how you can join a fun bracketology of your own league with a forum I've come to know called WrestleJoy. And I highly recommend fans of AEW and NJPW to look at it. Simple as that. Hi, Amy. So when I think about this match, it does seem like cut and dry that Toga Makabe, he's a clear winner here. As showed to Suji when they last faced each other in tag matches and were going at each other. Yoda had, of course, a shoulder injury. However, again, it's been 110 days. And this tournament, 15 years, constant classics in the making. It could be the 1 year where a young lion might pull an upset in one of these many opening 16 matches. But with that being said, do I see an upset in this first one here? I kind of don't. I'm going to go with Toga Makabe on this one. Now, when I look at the New Japan Cup, when I look at any of these Grand Prix events they have, I always look at what matches have those that really give me this idea of this is a match to watch. This is somebody you need to figure out in this whole thing. This is a match you're going to remember. This is going to be an instant classic. I'm not talking about just based on a Dave Meltzer, Starbang, or Brian Alvarez review. But when it comes to Tomohiro Ishii, the guy just loves to fight. And he brings out the best in everybody as he pushes them to really show him. Okay, you want to beat me, take me down. As this guy really uses pain as a strength to really just push himself beyond limits. That's the reason why he's been known as the refrigerator. But he's also known as the Stone Pit Bull. And he bites hard. Literally watching him bite down the ropes when he was facing Kenny Omega in the G1 USA finale for the first ever IWGP United States Championship. Enough said. Tomohiro Ishii has become one of my top favorite wrestlers in all New Japan Pro Wrestling. Maybe my second most favorite in Chaos. With that being said, though, El Desperado, he's nobody to shy about considering he finally came back from injury last year at King of Pro Wrestling and really has garnered some momentum. He and his tag partner in Suzuki-gun, my favorite faction if you haven't figured it out, really went the distance during the World Tag League for the Junior Heavyweight Championships, and they have been former Junior Champions before. And I feel like he has a lot to try and prove here. But that being said, I'm sorry. I'm not going against the Stone Pit Bull Tomohiro Ishii. For those of you who are keeping track, I salute you. With that being said, I will talk about my June 24. I will talk about my overall winners for each of these 4 brackets. I basically like to put it in my top 4 overall winner. But again, I will give you simple takes as the days progress because chances are I'm going to have some of these opening matches wrong. And that's okay. And that's the fun in professional wrestling. Not always being right and being surprised. Speaking of surprises, this next match, you literally got the spoiler master, Toru Yano, versus someone probably just as clever in Jado. We all know the pairing of Jado, Gedo. They are veterans of the game. They have all the tricks in the book, but they're both part of Bullet Club. Put it up, folks. And right now, Toru Yano, ever since G1 last year, it's really hard to bet against the guy because he can surprise you. There's a reason he's called Spoiler Master. And when I think about who he could be facing in the next match, it would not surprise me if Toru Yano, he did pick up the win here. Oh, by the way, for those of you who are wondering, I'll give you some brief facts about each of these competitors too. My apologies. Toga Makabe has been in this for the 13th time now, second consecutive. Yoshisuji, this is his debut. Many of the people I'm going to talk about, they'll be debuting in the NJCup. And this is their first singles meeting. Tomohiro Ishii has been now in the NJCup 12 times. This is his 5th consecutive time in a row. El Desperado, first time ever, NJ debut, and this is their first singles meeting ever. This match right here, Toru Yano's been in it now 15 times in a row. Literally, this guy's probably got more NJCup experience than everybody in this field. And I'm just going off the top of my head here. And Jado, he's making his NJCup debut. This is their first singles meeting as well. I feel that's very important because history usually dictates what you think might happen in a match in NJPW, whether it's the building or the event or the setup. Just saying. A lot of this stuff comes in handy, folks, and it really can help you with your bracket. I highly recommend NJPW972.com for all this brief information and so much more. NJPW has got to be like one of my favorite websites in the world. Anyway, going on from there. So, like I said, I got Toru Yano winning against Gale. Then the final match of day 1 is Tomoki Honma and Hiromu Takahashi. People really put Tomoki Honma, I feel, to the side, but Tomoki Honma, he is one of the wildest competitors. The reason why he does Kogeshi, which makes you happy, from the top ropes sometimes, and I feel like he's dented his head. He's also hugely unmotivated. But speaking of motivation, you got to talk about motivation in our current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion in Hiromu Takahashi. When I think of Hiromu Takahashi, he really tries to break the barrier when it comes to a junior heavyweight and this mental idea of a heavyweight can't lose to a junior heavyweight or shouldn't go down necessarily to a junior heavyweight. But I feel like here right now, considering the story we were trying to set up and the match we wanted to get at the anniversary show didn't happen, this is the first step maybe towards building that. Again, I'll tell you all about my winner at the end. But I'm actually going with Hiromu Takahashi to win this match against Tomoke Homa. And chances are, I don't know which of these four will be the main event, but I feel like Tomohiro Ishii's got to be your main event here. Just saying. And again, this is their first singles meeting. Tomoke Homa has been in this now 8 times. This is his second consecutive. And Hiromu Takahashi, his debut. When you think about this field of 32, it's really ironic how many of these people are debuts and how few of them are actual winners. Again, this is probably the most unpredictable NJCup to date. I could not be more excited. So those were the day one matches. And when I figure about who could take this whole block, because eventually out of these 8 people, 6 will be gone. So when I look at it, I see Tomohiro Ishii facing off against Hiromu Takahashi, a true test of heavyweight versus junior heavyweight. Now, when it comes down to it, as far as those two go, do I see a junior heavyweight finally getting as close as the freaking semifinals in the top 4? Or do I see a veteran who's had a strong run, made the freaking quarterfinals last year, was the top 4? I feel like for some reason, and I've gone for this 2 or 3 times in my head, that Hiromu Takahashi is extremely driven to the fact that this could lead him to finally facing Tetsuya Naito one-on-one at Dominion. And that could be one of the biggest stories here. LIJ really has been like at the forefront of New Japan Pro Wrestling this year, ever since Wrestle Kingdom. When you figure about, probably they have all the gold, really. But with this being said, this is a hard match for me to call because I'm such a Tomohiro Ishii fan. But I also respect Hiromu Takahashi and his return. And he's been on fire ever since. But I feel like out of this quadrant of the bracket, I gotta give it to... Oh, this is tough. I'm just going to say Tomohiro Ishii because I feel like he is driven to the point that he wants to try and actually win this year because last year he came so close. So, yeah. I think I'm going to go with, no, you know what? No, because I keep thinking about I want to see Will Ospreay versus Okada, for example. Ospreay, of course, stuck in England. I'm going to go, yeah, let me talk to you. I'm going to go wild here. I'm going to go if Hiromu Takahashi wins this quadrant. Now, does he win against the in the next quadrant? I don't know. When I look at these quadrants, I think about 3 of these quadrants are kind of easy, or 2 of these quadrants are kind of easy to figure out, maybe. One more than the other. And then the other 2, it's like a who's who for you. So, with that being said, looking at the day 2 matches, openers, you have Okada versus Gedo. Now, for those of you who remember the original bracket, I'm sure you all were scratching your heads and couldn't pick between the 2. It was originally going to be Okada versus the Switchblade, Jay White. But Jay White is right here, stuck in America. And he already gave us our welcome back to the GPW, but he also gave fair warning to the fact that these guys can get the idea of they're the best, the most relevant until he returns. Because you all know Jay White's going to return, all right? Suppose that. With that being said, though, Gedo, Okada, their history goes so far back. These 2 were inseparable for a while. Then we had, of course, the shocker during the freaking destruction in Kobe. And ever since then, these 2 have been at each other's throats. And Okada's been on a different level. Okada's going to be one of the top-tier favorites to win this whole thing, considering he did win last year's New Japan Cup and beat Jay White in G1. Supercard. Sorry, folks. With that being said, this match here, though, you got manipulation and Gino Gambino's trying to push the hashtag Gedo's Revenge. I don't see it happening. I got to go with the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada here. But looking at this next match, though, Yuji Nagata, Minoru Suzuki, out of this quadrant, this is the match I'm looking forward to the most. Again, Okada, by the way, 4th entry, 2nd consecutive. Gedo, this is New Japan Cup debut. Apologies, folks. Can you tell I'm excited, but also my mind's all over the place with everything that's been going on in the world. And again, my prayers and rare condolences to all of you still affected by this heavily more than others, whether you're here in America or in some other nation. I do hope things ease up for you. May wrestling bring joy to you, if you're a wrestling fan. Anyway, this match right here, in my opinion, is probably my favorite opening match to look forward to. Because Kasa Ninare, Minoru Suzuki is probably my favorite all-time wrestler in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And these 2 have probably the strongest history of 50-50 type professional wrestling one-upsmanship. Because his opponent is Blue Justice, Yuji Nagata. If y'all don't know, Yuji Nagata has been in this now for 13 times, 2nd consecutive, but He's won this thing twice, in 2007 and 2011. Minoru Suzuki has now been in this now 6 times. This will be his second consecutive. He has yet to win the freaking thing. And I still find it baffling he was not in last year's G1 Climax. Between these two, though, over their history, they've had 4 G1 Climax matches and 3 Wrestle Kingdom matches. And I still rewatch freaking Wrestle Kingdom when Minoru Suzuki had that special live sung entrance out there. With that being said, though, this is a crucial, huge opening match for both men. And I know Blue Just been now in wrestling for 35 years, and Minoru Suzuki has always been questionable, but I just don't know necessarily if he just wants to really win this or hurt him, especially when you think about the history of these two. I went back and forth a lot with this, but I am pro Suzuki-gun for a reason. New Japan Pro Wrestling, you pick a faction and you stick with it. So with that being said, I'm not going against the true king of pro wrestling here. I believe Minoru Suzuki is going to pick up the win here. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am setting up Royal Quest IWGP Heavyweight Championship match rematch here with Okada and Suzuki. Will I have the same result maybe? I'll let you know in a moment. But this is the match I'm most looking forward to in the openers overall. And they too cannot get here soon enough. But yeah, my pick right now is Minoru Suzuki for this. And the fact they're 5-5, again, this could go either way, but I'm not going against the king. So, with that being said, the next match here, we have Yuya Uemura, another young lion, versus the heel master, Suzuki-gun, Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Both these men, this is their New Japan Cup debut. But Yoshinobu Kanemaru is one of the best junior heavyweights in the world with the most experience. Truly one of the best of all time, okay? And if he gets that, Satori special on you, it's pretty much over. And again, the young lion, he's going to be in for a super tough test. He's going to really have to push himself here if he wants to have a chance against the heel master. It's for that reason that I feel like right now that Yoshinobu Kanemaru is going to win this match. He's been in the game for 23 years. So that was an easy match for me to think about. Don't know about y'all. With that being said, people think, and again, I listened to NJPW's official podcast, and I did listen to the Roundhouse discussion of commentary. The fact that Kevin Kelly believes that this could be his upset moment in the openers, where Yuya Uemura could possibly, keyword possibly, pull up a win here, and we bring back the history of this young lion with a death wish, going after Minoru Suzuki during those tag matches on the New Japan Road and other forums. I think it's a wild idea, but I don't think it's too wild to have it because New Japan Pro Wrestling can pleasantly surprise you. And everybody would love to see a young lion go over either a heavyweight or a junior heavyweight. But I just don't think so right now. And right now I am going to go with Yoshinobu Kanemaru. So simple as that. The last match here, though, is a guy with tons of experience in the game, but kind of reset himself since being a young lion now in NJPW. Gabriel Kidd. You might know that name from the UK circuit. And then he's facing the Bone Soldier, former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion in Taiji Ishimori, and this is both men's NJCup debut, first singles meeting. I feel like this match could go either way, but these two are no strangers to each other as they have faced each other before in tag matches. And again, you get a lot of an idea of how well someone might be in a tag match. And Gabriel Kidd is one of those young lion hybrids with a ton of experience under his belt already. But again, when you're a young lion, you kind of reset everything prior to that. This could be Gabriel Kidd's, this is Gabriel Kidd's toughest test to date. But do I see an upset here? I don't think so, because I do feel like there is past history to figure out between Suzuki-gun and Bullet Club, especially after last year's Junior World Tag League, when these two faced each other, and even low-blowed each other at one point, when ELP and Taiji Ishimori took on Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado. With that being said, I'm keeping it simple. I'm going to go with Taiji Ishimori picking up the win ahead of here. So, basically, in this quadrant, I have to figure out now among the 4 I have moving on. Okada, Suzuki, Kanemaru, and Ishimori. Who's going to take the block? I know what everyone's thinking. Okada seems like the clear favorite to take probably the whole thing. Again, he also might be the clear favorite to take this block. But again, it could be a surprising upset. And thinking about the way I did my right bracket, which honestly was a lot harder for me, I feel like past history might repeat itself. I already got Okada and Minoru Suzuki as a pinnacle match in this quadrant. And honestly, that's going to be a deciding factor of who I feel like one of these two is going to win this quadrant. I went back and forth with these two for a long time, thinking about both of history with many of the people off the right side, including my potential final. But with that, I reluctantly with Okada winning this quadrant, and then going on to face Tomohiro Ishii in the quarterfinals on July 3rd. These two men, men in chaos, same faction. These two men, no strangers to each other, multiple one-on-one encounters. And I would love to see Minoru Suzuki versus Tomohiro Ishii, but something about Okada right now, with the fact he doesn't have the title, and he's been like laid back, having fun, but he's just probably been waiting so long to get back in the game and make it rain. I don't know why they're doing fireworks out here. Good grief. It's not even freaking New Year's. But yeah, I got to go in this quadrant. I'm actually going with Kazuchika Okada wins this quadrant. And up against Tomohiro Ishii, I might literally be setting up a match from last year, and it might be the same result. And right now, I am kind of leaning towards that. So yeah, my whole left side of the bracket, my winner out of that, I'm going with the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. But I see some interesting stories developing out of this side of the bracket too. So only time will tell. And kind of, I hope I'm wrong because I'd rather see Minoru Suzuki versus Tomohiro Ishii. But again, I'm thinking about the way the bracket could go. Again, it's unpredictable. You be your best judge too. All right. So with that being said, I gave you my rundown on the left side. Let's talk about the right side. Because when I look at the right side, you have a much more tougher field to figure out of who could take this right side bracket. With former winners, more debuts, and I feel like somebody in this side can actually win the whole thing, and my potential winner comes from this side of the bracket. With that being said, let me talk to you. So our first match here in the third quadrant, oh man, this is going to be a tough one. The ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi, the once-a-century wrestler, versus the Black Sheep, the Holy Emperor, one of my all-time favorites, huge underdog. Feel like he's got the most potential to take the thing here in this quadrant, but he just needs to break free of something that's holding him back, and I don't know what. Taiji. So let's figure out this. Hiroshi, Tanahashi, and Taiji, they are 1-0 in Tanahashi's favor as far as singles records. Tanahashi, he practically owns this thing. 11th entry now, 6 consecutive years in this thing, and literally he has won this now twice, in 2005 and 2008, while Taiji's been in this now 3 years in a row and has yet to win it. So I figure about this because I figure about the events that happened prior to the events that affected the world. Dangerous Techers, Taiji and Zack Sabre Jr., they immediately confronted the new IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions in Hiroshi Tanahashi and Golden Star Kota Ibushi. Keep in mind, folks, Hiroshi Tanahashi's one half of the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. They beat GLD for them. But Dangerous Techers, they want these titles now. So, with that being said, do I see one of these two men possibly causing the other one or helping their partner get through this? Do I see confrontation with a team later on in this quadrant? Do I see an IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match forming at Dominion? The last question, I feel, is a definite yes. But with that being said, looking at this match, I went back and forth on this forever. But you can't bet against the ace, not to use an old proverb that goes against another ace in a different company called NXT UK. But I digress. I watch all sorts of wrestling, folks. NJPW #1. With that being said, I reluctantly went with, despite the fact he might have that iron glove of Usuka and also his muse, basically, Miho Abe in his corner and a mic stand, I did went with the ace on this one because he's been going at this now for 20 plus years. He truly is New Japan Pro Wrestling, and honestly, I feel like he's the face. I gotta go with the ace on this one, Hiroshi Tanahashi. And this was not an easy match to think about. With that being said, the next match here is one just as difficult. And these guys have faced each other all over the place, multiple tours, multiple New Japan Cups, last year's G1. Just saying. Golden Star, Kota Ibushi in this now. 4th time, 3rd consecutive year, former winner, won in 2015, now facing submission specialist, former winner, 3rd time entry, 3 years in a row, won in 2018, came this close to beating Okada after his Sakura Genesis. Zack Sabre Jr. The record right now stands in 4-2 as far as Ibushi goes in singles action. When you figure about these two runs, let's figure about this. Kota Ibushi, who came in last year, said he signed a lifetime contract to BW. He really had a rough year, and then he won the G1, and he fought through Evil, and he fought through multiple others to keep his dream alive and maybe in the Tokyo Dome. And he wanted to try and unite the two titles, make the greater one as great as the greatest one, in his words. He failed. at Wrestle Kingdom. Not only in the main event of Night 1 against Okada, that was probably his best match to date, but he also failed in the follow-up specials match against Jay White. This is the guy coming off 2 consecutive losses at the biggest event in professional wrestling, Wrestle Kingdom. So with that being said, though, the fact now that he and the Ace, they kind of like one together. I feel like the Ace sees the future in Kota Ibushi. And these two are no strangers to each other either. They faced each other one before in the New Japan Cup. I feel like right now, with the fact that I already got the Ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi, going over here, this match, you could flip a coin. It could go 50-50 either way, despite the odds, all right? Especially when Zack Sabre Jr. is the last one encounter with this guy. He lost in the G1. But this is the New Japan Cup. Zack Sabre Jr., he's won it before. But do I see a rematch of Kota versus Hiroshi or Zack Sabre Jr. versus Hiroshi, who had a long-standing feud, I might add, last year? Oh, jeez. I don't know here. This match was so damn hard to call and so darn close. But with that being said, I had to pick, and I did go reluctantly, actually, based on everything that's been happening recently. I went with Zack Sabre Jr. on this one, actually. And I feel like it's going to be due to tag team, because, again, that backstory idea of the IWGP Tag Team Championships being on line to win against Dangerous Tekkers. Kota Ibushi has had a lot of misfortunes right now, and I feel like later on he might help his partner despite shenanigans that might go aside. Because you know Suzuki-gun, they have their own way of doing things, and they're the most violent fan in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and they give zero bleeps about anything or anyone's opinion. And it's not like Zack Sabre Jr. needs the crowd to actually work his style in the ring. But Kota Ibushi, I feel like without that crowd's energy, it might follow him a little bit. Again, these guys are going to be wrestling empty arena, period. With that being said, I went with Zack Sabre Jr. on this one. So I got Zack Sabre Jr. and Hiroshi Tanahashi. You know, let me just say this. I thought it was funny when Kevin Kelly, Gino Gambino, and Chris Charlton, they proposed the idea of ranking these 4 men from worst to best. And I'm like, how can you do that? Do you look at the short runs of what's happened for all 4 men, or do you look at all 4 of these men's overall history in New Japan Pro Wrestling? Can you guys truly rank the Ace, the Golden Star, the Submissions Master, and the Holy Emperor? I don't know if I honestly can, being pro Suzuki-gun, but looking at the records of Taiji, looking at Zack Sabre Jr.'s recent fortunes, the fact that he's no longer British Heavyweight Champion, Will Ospreay now holds that title, and the fact that he wants to challenge Jon Moxley for the United States title, but can't do that right now. Kota Ibushi with all the huge matches, but hasn't been able to capitalize on wins. And Tanahashi, I mean, he's coming off a loss from Chris Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom, but again, they're tag team champions. I could never rank these 4, and I don't think I ever will. Simple as that. That was just a wild idea. Don't ever make me do that. Okay, so with that being said, I got the first part of this quadrant done. Let's look at the second part, because this is an interesting match right here. As I look at the coach, one half of the mega coaches, Mizusuke Taguchi, 3rd time in this NJCup, 2nd consecutive, versus Sanada, Cold Skull. 4th time and 4th consecutive. Neither men have won. First singles meeting for both men. So let's figure out this. The Mega Coach is coming off an incredible match against Roppongi 3K's Yo and Sho, the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. And if you haven't watched that match, I highly recommend you do so. And Sanada, who's had really a lot of mixed fortunes, but he gained the notoriety of being recognized as, in Okada's words, his rival. They had match of the year last year at King of Pro Wrestling, rivalry probably of the year. And last year, he did make it to the finals of the New Japan Cup. While Taguchi, he was lucky to basically make it to basically right under the quarterfinals, as he met his end against the Ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi. And he beat Tenzin, his opener, who's also in this, by the way, too. When I think about this match and Sanada, the fact that he's coming off a loss to Jay White, not to mention a loss for the British Heavyweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom against Zack Sabre Jr. But based on everything that's been going for him, and I feel like people really believe in him, I feel like he could have another really strong run in this New Japan Cup this year. And despite the fact both these two, it's going to be like a chess game, I feel like, to a degree, because we all know how unorthodox Mizusuke Taguchi is, but we also know how driven Sanada is to show, especially to Milano Collection, his type of style of wrestling. And, of course, the homages to his mentors with the Cold Skull and the Moonsault. I feel like right now things have to go in his favor to begin with in this year's New Japan Cup. So I did went with Sanada for the win in this opener. As far as the coach goes, the coach is going to keep doing what he's doing, putting over New Japan Pro Wrestling, showing off that he can still go with the best of them in this entire company. Simple as that. Don't go against the coach. But in this case, I am. All right. You know, I look at this match, and it's both men's debut in this cup. And both men open Best of Super Juniors and had the second best match prior to the whole entire tournament. It's freaking Sho of Roppongi 3K versus the never Openweight champion, Rampage Dragon, Shingo Takagi. I'm not going to lie. Out of this quadrant, you have to imagine this is going to be the match you're going to want to watch. I mean, 3 of these matches really could take this entire opening thing, okay? It's freaking amazing. All 4 of these are, actually. In my opinion, this entire quadrant is your strongest block to try and figure out. But when I look at this match and the fact that Shingo Takagi and Sho had the opener in last year's Best Super Juniors, Shingo won. And by the way, their singles record is 1-0. Just that match. Think about that. And then you look at now, he's the number-weight champion. He got off Goto, and he survived a war with freaking Tomohiro Ishii. And now, after that match, first person that we see confront him, it is Sho. Imagine, when I think about the idea of upsets, I don't think about Kevin Kelly's upset about the line, but imagine the idea of an upset here. Sho actually beats the never Openweight champion and gets a match for the title at Dominion. Imagine that. That could be the biggest moment of these opening matches in this year's NJCup. And I feel like right now, Sho, he's really trying to break beyond a tag team wrestler. He really showed that off last year with his run, mixed results aside, in the Best of Super Juniors. But of course, Shingo Takagi, patently unstoppable, became a heavyweight, really sees now the type of competition he's going up against. But this is not a heavyweight he's going up against. It's junior heavyweight, where he's considered as a heavyweight in himself. I have to really think about the idea that I want to see some surprises in this special Openweight New Japan Cup. So, believe it or not, folks, I went with Sho for the win here. I went with Roppongi 3K. I went with Sho going over Shingo Takagi in what's going to be an absolute brutal affair. And I feel like Shingo, he's going to respect him after this, and they're going to have that match at Dominion for the Never Openweight Championship. So mark my words, I say that Sho goes over in this opening match. And it's going to be absolutely incredible. All right. To think, this was the opener of Best Super Juniors. Now it's the friggin' opening match for one of the days. Well, opening round match, excuse me, because I don't know the match order of the New Japan Cup. I can't freaking wait. Oh, and by the way, folks, these opening days, they each will have a additional special match yet to be determined. I got a match that's going to be like a tax match of some sort. Probably like a teaser for the next day's competition to come. Now, when I look at this quadrant, the names I have moving forward, good freaking grief. I got Hiroshi Tanahashi, I got Zack Sabre Jr., I got Sanada, and I got Sho. Only one of these men can make it all the way to the quarterfinals to figure out who they're facing in the last quadrant. When I look at this field, I think about the setups of the Never Openweight title match and the Heavyweight Tag Team title matches. But then I look at Hiroshi Tanahashi and Zack Sabre Jr.'s history. And the fact that the last time these two were in one match, Zack Sabre Jr. won, winning back his British Heavyweight Championship during, again, the Destruction Tour. I feel like, though, looking at the other half with Sanada and Sho, that Sanada has to go over here towards the win. And overall, I feel like it's going to come down to a Wrestle Kingdom rematch. And I actually went with Sanada faces Zack Sabre Jr. here and gets the best of him and takes this quadrant and moves on to July 3rd. So out of this quadrant, my winner is actually Sanada. Yeah, I'll leave that suspense of disbelief to y'all to think about. With that being said, there's still one more quadrant to think about. So let's go ahead and talk about this quadrant. As you have a mix here of junior heavyweights, longtime veterans as well. But this one right here, it might be a little easier to call off one particular name. With that being said, let's talk about it. So, day 4, which of course will take place on June 23rd. We got Hiroyoshi Tenzin, 10th entry, second consecutive, yet to win the thing, versus the headhunter, Yoshihashi, 7th entry, 6th consecutive. This is their first singles meeting, and neither man have won this event at all. So when you think about this, Yoshihashi, and I look at last year's New Japan bracket, he literally made it up to face Tomohiro Ishii in the match prior to the quarterfinals, okay? He went past Manabu Nakanishi, who's now retired, and he made it through the crown jewel of Bullet Club in Chase Owens. I feel like Yoshihashi has really been like one of those that's like underlooked by many But he did have that incredible match during Fighting Spirit Pro Unleashed, where he tried to take the number one title against Kenta, who's also stuck in the United States. I look at this match and I figure about this, though, with the fact that Tenzin, Nagata, and Nakanishi, they had that incredible run towards Nakanishi's retirement. Oh, and Kojima. During Nakanishi's retirement tour. And Yoshihashi, he's one of those that has yet to actually win any actual type of gold in New Japan Pro Wrestling. When I figure about this match, though, I figure about, based on their run with Manabu Nakanishi, and Tenzin, of course, being former tag team partners with him, sharing multiple tag team victories, I feel like this really is going to push Tenzin to try and prove something here and really branch out. So, figuring about the way this match will go, and figure about Tenkosi's run kind of to a degree in the World Tag League last year, I kind of was a little back and forth on this one, but I feel like right now, it's going to come down to each man's ace in the hole, and both these men are more so submissions masters. I know the butterfly log, we know that he gets it on you, it's pretty much it, but it takes a while for him to really bring down his opponent, I've seen. Tenzin, however, he just goes with a simpler submission, I believe a Anaconda Vice, and that's not as hard to apply when you already got your opponent in a grounded position. And I feel like that might be the difference maker here, so I'm actually going to go with Tenzin on this one. And I'm curious to see what might happen for me. I'm sorry, Yoshihashi. But hey, I feel like the Headhunter will still have a great opening affair. And also, keep in mind, last year at Tenzin, he didn't make it out of the box in the opener. Okay, I'm giving the guy a chance here. Because last year at Tenzin, he lost to Rizusuke Taguchi in the very first opener on March 10th. Of course, you all know this usually takes place during March. So, again, I'm expecting some unique surprises, first-time outcomes here. And who knows? Who might the next breakout star be this year's special New Japan Cup? It might be a junior heavyweight going after a heavyweight. We might finally be bridging the gap with junior heavyweights and heavyweights main eventing. It's what Ospreay wanted at Wrestle Kingdom, and it's clearly what Hiromu Takahashi and Tetsuya Naito, they want. And again, that's one of the long-range stories of this entire tournament as well. So we'll see what happens. All right, so moving on from there, the next match is Yo in his New Japan Cup debut versus another one in the New Japan Cup debut. Two junior heavyweights, I might add. It is Yo versus Bushi. Their singles record, though, is 1-1. So, basically, these two, this is coming off Best of Super Junior outings, okay? They've shared victories and they've shared losses. Of course, Bushi right now is 1/3 of the never Openweight 6-man tag team champions, and Yo is 1/2 of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight tag team champions. It would not surprise me, though, based on the results here, it could potentially set up a match there, too. All these titles matter, and to think, this company only has 8 titles overall. It's bloody brilliant. When I think about this match, though, and I think about who might be cooler under pressure, and I also think about the tremendous run Bushi had recently confronting Will Ospreay, coming this close getting the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship, but also a upset roll-up victory on Zack Sabre Jr. that never had really any follow-up to it, and he did lead his team to hold on to those titles in their last 6-man defense against the heel master Toru Yano, Robbie Eagles, and Tomohiro Ishii. I kind of see right now Bushi might win this, but looking at who they might be facing, I actually went with Bushi on this one. I feel like Bushi might get the upset win here. And again, this is both their men's debut. So I just subtly went with Bushi here, just thinking about what he's done lately. And again, I feel like right now, New Japan is going in favor of LIJ. It's hard to argue. So yeah, I went with Bushi in this opener. As Yo is much more a methodical type style, both these men, they're going to try and outsmart each other. I think literally, like they said here on NJPW, this is going to be a game of human chess. Who gets checkmate? I'm just going to go say that Bushi gets it. And I'm not saying that because he wears a black and white mask. Sometimes. All right. But then again, that black poison mist. Game over. All right. With that being said, there is one more match still I have yet to discuss. And it goes down like this. As it's only their second singles encounter. It is Toshi Kojima, former IWGP Heavyweight Champion. 7th entry. 2nd consecutive. Has not won it yet. Versus 4th entry. 2nd consecutive. And these two, in their first ever singles encounter from 2017, guess who won? It was Evil. Satoshi Kojima, though, again, he's coming off that tremendous run with his friends in that unit, as Naoya Nakanishi is now fully retired, and I feel like he's going to be very motivated here. We also know he took on the likes of Jeff Cobb during shows over here in America and California. Dang it, Cindy, lucky. And we also know that he's one of those longer-running veterans of New Japan Pro Wrestling, longer than just Ron Liger, who is now retired. So basically, I look at this match here and I think about who could take this entire quadrant based on my 4. It's going to be an interesting, aggressive slap fight, as it seems like Evil cannot overcome Tomohiro Ishii, but it also seems like he can overcome Satoshi Kojima. Evil really had a lot of mixed forces last year trying to pursue the certificate from Kotobushi, failed. And really, right now, I feel like Sanada's been doing better versus Evil as a singles competitor. Evil had a bit of a mixed run during last year's G1 as well. And Evil also was eliminated in the opening match last year, too, to Zack Sabre Jr. Here, I think things are going to be different. I think he's going to go past the opener, and I'm just going to tell you right now, he is my winner to take this entire block. And I think it's going to come down to, personally, Evil versus Tenzin, actually. Kind of like, you know, a full circle type way where he's going through Nakanishi's unit and the other half of Tenkozy. So, yeah, my pick for this match actually is Evil, and I feel like he's going to take the whole thing against Tenzin. But I'm not counting out Goto putting up an aggressive fight against Evil, which was the last match. Apologies, but I'm sorry, folks. This match is got to be the easiest match to call when you look at the record. Not even Peter's distraction, I think, will make a difference. She's beautiful. Hiroki Goto, 12th entry, second consecutive. 3-time winner, though. I will give him that. My respect. 2009, 2010, 2012. Versus 10th entry, hasn't won yet, is 14-1 against Goto. The Tokyo Pimp, Yojiro Takahashi. The best thing we're going to see out of this is Peter. Simple as that. What would Yojiro need to do to beat Goto? Your guess is as good as mine, considering Goto's coming off the fact he lost neverweight title to Shingo Takagi, and I'm sure that's on the back of his mind too. He eventually wants to get that back. Goto's had a lot of mixed forces this year, but again, he is the fierce warrior. And I feel like right now, you can't go against Goto here. And last year, Goto, he lost the opener, but it was to Sanada. So again, that match might occur here based on the winner of my other quadrant. But in this match, I got to go with Goto, but I don't see him getting past Evil. And that's why I said Evil's going to take this whole thing against Tenzin. And yes, folks, I set up Evil versus Sanada. 2 friends, former tag partners, both want to be on top of New Japan Pro Wrestling to really prove something to themselves. And I feel like this is going to be a pinnacle storytelling match, not to mention a pinnacle match in the direction, maybe, of LIJ's really World Heavyweight Tag Team. Because these guys are multiple World Tag League winners. With that being said, though, as far as the right side of my bracket goes, I actually went with Sanada taking the whole thing here for the right side of the bracket against Evil on July 3rd. Which means, ladies and gentlemen, my tournament setup in the finale is literally a rematch of the end of last year's tournament, Okada versus Sanada. And I feel like it kind of makes sense to go full circle here. And finally, Sanada will overcome Okada like he did one time in last year's G1. Okada can be beaten. And I feel like Okada, excuse me. I correct my throat. It's Mountain Dew. I do. Simple as that. I feel like Okada really should see something in Sanada. And I feel like Sanada really should go over here and really challenge, well, the leader of the faction, LIJ. So with that, yeah, my pick actually to win this whole thing is Sanada for the entire New Japan Cup Openweight Special 2020. With that being said, some of my friends, like Goober and Chris, they also agree. Okada versus Sanada in the finals again for 2019. This time, Sanada wins the cup. And my friend, the lovely indie queen, Cindy G, please follow her at C_simply okay. Simply C_okay, excuse me. She also kind of went a similar approach, but she has a different winner in the end. Because in her Final Four, she has basically Hiromu Takahashi and Okada facing off against one another, with Okada taking the left side, And on the right side, she has Ibushi versus Bushi, which I think is a very interesting shocker substantive match. And she has Ibushi taking it, and it's literally Okada versus Ibushi, a Wrestle Kingdom main event rematch, where Ibushi takes the whole thing. When it was asked for the commentary of New Japan Pro Wrestling, who you think might actually take the whole thing and what your finals might be, Chris Charlton basically went with Hiromu Takahashi and Sanada, with Hiromu Takahashi going all the way winning this, and we finally get the match Hiromu Takahashi versus Tetsuya Naito for the double gold, where potentially Hiromu Takahashi could hold 3 belts, and that's unprecedented in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Gino Gambino, realistically, he said Zack Sabre Jr. versus Okada, with Zack Sabre Jr. going over, basically a rematch from Sakura Genesis, and literally this time Zack Sabre Jr. gets the win and takes the entire New Japan Cup. And Kevin Kelly, he's got literally the same thing as my good friend Cindy. He's got Kota Ibushi in the finals versus Kazuchika Okada. And he also believes that Ibushi will finally get that big upset win. Bottom line is this, when we look at it overall. We want someone different than Okada winning this. And I know on many people's brackets, probably Okada is a prime favorite. Because again, he won it last year. And he's one of the top tier wrestlers in all of New Japan Pro Wrestling. But when I look at storylines, when I look at the direction of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and again, Okada, he doesn't need the title again necessarily right now. Tetsuya Naito, he's enjoying his run as the double gold champ. He's already had only 1 defense so far against Kenta. Let's see how far I can go with this. I have to agree. I sense that right now, keep things the way they are and try and do something a little different. And that's why I did go with Sanada in the end. And I feel like Sanada, he could really try and be that next big leader in New Japan Pro Wrestling. LIJ right now, I feel like can really just run pro wrestling on their own, it seems, right now. As they have all the gold, and right now they're at the forefront. So, yeah, thinking about that, I did go with Sanada for the win for the entire thing. Now, as far as my predictions for Dominion overall card, stay tuned for that. Because I'm sure, based on the conditions of all the participants, because again, after the opening matches, following that, they're literally only going to have basically about a week to rest, and then a week after that, and then literally 1 day when they're in the quarterfinals, and then they'll have a week to rest for Osaka Joe Hall, the finale of the New Japan Cup, and then of course the winner of the New Japan Cup will face on July 12th Tetsuya Naito in the main event for both titles. But right now, it seems like the names floating around is Okada, Ibushi, Sanada, Hiromu Takahashi. I think those are all very valuable names, and honestly, those might be the key 4 that could take the whole thing. I mean, I don't know if I want to see Kota Ibushi versus Tetsuya Naito, though, at the risk of Kota Ibushi's neck. I'm just saying that for the record. And is this really the time that you do Hiromu Takahashi versus Tetsuya Naito? I don't know, honestly. I mean, honestly, I probably would have saved that maybe for King of Pro Wrestling, but that's just me. And of course, we have a ton of other NJPW talent, and people who've been involved in NJPW currently can't be involved right now due to the restrictions that surround the world in their region, including but not limited to Will Ospreay, Jay White, Kenta, Bad Luck Fale, John Moxley, who I must add is still the United States champion, and Will Ospreay, of course, the British. So again, there's still a lot of people left to be able to return to this forum. We only can wait and see. With that being said, that's really all I have for now. I hope you all enjoyed my brief discussion, highlights, analysis, bracketology, breakdown, and overall predictions on the opening matches, quarterfinals, and winner of the New Japan Cup. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, and let's always support one another, treat one another equally. And please stay tuned, of course, as I will be doing a simple take on the Together special and after each day of action in the New Japan Cup. As once again, my channel, I'm back. I couldn't be happier. I will be coming NJPW in full with all of their events because, again, NJPW is my #1. If you want to know more about me and my love for NJPW and other wrestling, know this. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of wrestling. Follow me on Twitter at NotiQ /Noah, or notiq.com/Noah, excuse me, or at Foster9016. Instagram and Foster9016. Give you a nice hello, moments of wrestling, some music to brighten your day, positive vibes, positive attitude, positive atmosphere. You're following the Simple YouTube channel here that I literally am just branding now as Simpleman Productions. Shout out to James Hebert with the awesome graphics you see at the end of the beginning. So follow the Simple YouTube channel, youtube.com/Noah Foster210 for all your discussions and coverage and predictions if you want. on New Japan Pro Wrestling, as well as weekly discussions on AEW with my AEW Spark series involving you, the wrestling community. And if you want to join in the fun, it's simple. All you need is Skype or Zoom, because I want to reach out and have fun with you as a wrestling fan, because that's what my channel is all about. All about wrestling. Simple as that. And as always, I have so many friends that I just want to give shout outs to. I just want everybody out there to be okay, support one another, be treated as equal, and just take care of each other. So, limited, but not just to these. Support NoDQ, support WrestleJoy, support the Greg Cherry brand, support the Jeff Meacham Network, support NJPW, support independent wrestling. That's definitely at the heart of all of this. Because again, I follow pretty much all the wrestling. WWE, NWA, AEW, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling. The list goes on. And yes, I will be doing coverage on Summerversary, and of course, as part of my AEW Spark series, Fighter Fest. So much incredible wrestling this summer, and I will be tackling an interesting experiment come in July, where you might get something in wrestling every day. Stay tuned. But as always, I like to close. Support your wrestling outlets, both big and small. Let's keep growing this incredible, diverse, unique, authentic wrestling community together. Simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to this Simple Man's Thoughts on all things NJPW and this special Openweight New Japan Cup for the year 2020. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, hit the bell button, hit the bell to know when the next video goes live. Hit the subscribe button, help me grow the channel, help me reach out to more of the rest of the community. I humbly thank all 147 of you that's been with me along this fun creator's journey. It's not stopping anytime soon. I can assure you that I will keep bringing positive wrestling environment to you. So until the next video, I am done here. I hope you all take care, enjoy life. Tomorrow's never guaranteed, and enjoy wrestling. Please support one another, be friendly, create a positive atmosphere with others, and of course, those around you. I hope that if you are still sustaining tough times in this world, that things do get better for you too, especially with this coronavirus nonsense, okay? I know I said, but I'm not monetized, so it doesn't matter. But until the next video, which will basically be after, on some point Monday, after the Together special, I hope you all just, you know, have a wonderful night or day whenever you might watch this. Sorry for the noise in the background again. Go Kigenyo, sayonara. Ha di koる世紀縁はひどく